Thank you very much. My question is to the Premier. Yesterday, theatre goers were excited to see work nearing completion on a new outdoor performance space for the Stratford Festival. They and other arts organizations have invested millions towards a safe reopening. And like so many others in their sector, last year the Stratford Festival cancelled in-person programming and pivoted to online engagement. This year, they and others like the Waterloo Jazz Festival and Drayton Theatre are ready to return to safe in-person performances. We all need this to happen. What they need from this government is a thoughtful, individualized approach to reopening performance venues, including outdoor spaces. For example, they need permission to rehearse outside. You can't start in Step 2 never having rehearsed in Step 1. This is advice from Mitchell Marcus from the consortium. After the year the performing arts have been through, the frustration is real, and there are no provisions for rehearsals in the new roadmap, which doesn't make it a very effective roadmap for the performing arts community. Will the Premier work with the Stratford Festivals and the performing arts community to ensure that they can open safely sooner than later?
Minister of Heritage, Sport, Tourism and Culture Industries.
Thanks very much. I appreciate the member opposite's question, and it's one that we've been working on throughout the last 15 months with this sector, particularly with the Stratford and the Shaw Festival, as well as many other festivals across the province who have either been shuttered or who we were able to get some concessions in the previous framework for them to be able to do online and virtual performances. Having said that, there's a great inconsistency with the member opposite and her leader. Her leader is telling us to shut more things down. She's telling us to open more things up. We spent a lot of time with the Ministry of Health. Me and her spend a great deal of time with these sectors, in addition to the Jobs and Recovery Committee at Cabinet, with which we have an audience with Dr. David Williams. At this time, they have said that at the health table, we aren't prepared at that moment. We are right now in pre-Step 1. We would like to get to Step 1, and the quicker we get into Step 1, the quicker we get into Step 2, and the quicker we get to see these performance arts centres back up and running, and that's something that I would love to see happen almost immediately, Speaker.
Supplementary question.
Thank you very much. We've asked for some common sense, Mr. Speaker. Pre-pandemic, the Stratford Festival attracted 500,000 tourists annually, directly employed 100 people, created an additional 2,400 full-time jobs. If we want to talk about restarting the economy, it needs to be inclusive of these arts organizations and businesses like the Stratford Festival. They can't just turn the lights on and call action without having the ability to prepare for that opening. They are simply asking for clarity in the rules of engagement, if you will, so that they can plan for a successful season. But they are running out of time. They also want clear communication from the government in order for their season to move forward, rehearsing outdoors and a flexible model to maximize capacity limits safely for audience. Can the government commit today to these reasonable requests and establish regulatory fairness for the performing arts sector?
Mr. of Heritage.
As I mentioned in the previous answer, the ministry is working with health in order to provide those guidelines. We have established a table to try and make sure that we have a theatre strategy moving forward, the Stratford Festival obviously being part of that, as well as the Shaw, as well as others. But again, I speak to the inconsistencies of the NDP. The leader at the beginning of this question period wanted to shut more things down and prolong the lockdown. And now this member opposite is trying to open more things up. We continue to work with the sector. In fact, we increased funding to the sector by $25 million. And we gave the Stratford Festival $1.8 million, and they said we are extremely grateful to the Ontario government for being so responsive to our needs. The Stratford Festival had to cancel its entire 2020 season, which had to bring in more than $70 million in revenue. Thank you, Minister MacLeod, for supporting the arts and the artists in the province. We desperately need the stability this new funding offers.